Friends, we've been invited here to share with Stacey and Chris this very important moment in their lives, sharing the moment of celebration when a man and a woman join together into the bonds of love, honor, respect, and responsibility, into the unity that is marriage. Chris and Stacey, this is your day, this is your time, this is your celebration. Today, you declare the love and commitment you've expressed to each other many times before. Today, you declare for the whole world to see that this other person has that special place in your life that can only be given one to another. So on this glorious afternoon, I ask who supports Stacey in her decision to marry Chris?
From mother and I.
Okay, give your daughter a kiss. Shake his hand. Okay, you two step together. Grab a hold of his arms. Friends, let's set the stage for today with a bit of background. Chris and Stacey shared today with many service members, all of our groomsmen, bridesmaid Julia, several of the guests. Chris is active, as are many of you, and it's a privilege for us to share this day together. Chris, we thank you for your service to our country and to those countries where you were deployed. You make us proud to be Americans and to support you and all who serve. Which brings us back to the story at hand. Chris was deployed in Afghanistan, and Stacey's first grade class sent him letters and pictures. And Chris replied to the kids' letters and reached out to Stacey. They continued to talk over Facebook, email, and text for 3 months. And when Chris came home to the States, he drove up to Massachusetts to meet Stacey and her class. From there, they hit it off and spent almost every weekend together, with Chris making the drive from New Jersey to Boston every weekend. And when he was transferred to Fort Bragg, from North Carolina to Boston. So after a year of dating, Stacey moved to North Carolina from Boston. Who would have guessed that? I mean, love will not be denied, right? And that brings us to today. Now, each of you has prepared a special story about your life together. So Chris, I'm going to have you go first. So read your story to your wife and to us.
Stacey moved to Fort Bragg in late August 2013 and had about a week to get her bearings before I was sent to SEER school for 3 weeks. I almost expected to come home to an empty house, but when I got home, she was there. A couple weeks later, we got our little monster, Chesney. She'll be here later for pictures. And we wouldn't have picked a worse time to get her. Stacey isn't the soundest of sleepers, and Chesney wasn't really digging the whole sleeping alone thing. And me, well, I was out in the field for 2 weeks evaluating our students. So for the first 2 weeks that we had Ches, I was driving home an hour each way to sleep with the dog because Stacey was ready to get rid of her. Well, the last day I was in the field also happened to be my birthday, so Stacey figured she would do something nice for me, and she baked up some cupcakes and brought them to me out at Camp McCall. Before she even got out of the neighborhood, Chesney jumped out of her little crate in the front seat, scared Stacey, who swerved into the mailbox with her side view mirror. If you didn't know, now you know. All right. When she finally made it out to Camp McCall, we sat in her car and she proceeded to tell me how she had gone up to Cary with a mutual friend, bought some cinnamon rolls at a bakery for me, and explained how she'd attempted to keep herself from eating any of them and failed miserably. She first put them in the fridge, telling herself, out of sight, out of mind. But of course that didn't work because in order for her to eat, she had to get into the fridge. Then she figured she would just try one. Chris won't miss just one. Well, one turned into two, and two into three, until all 12 of them were gone. All I could do was laugh as she told me that she had bought me cinnamon rolls and eaten every last one of them. I asked her why she even told me, but I already knew. Stacey doesn't know how to be dishonest. It's one of her most endearing qualities, even though it meant hearing about how she bought me one of my favorite breakfast foods and ate every last one.
All right, Stacey, your turn.
She's on first. When asked to share a story about Chris, I had so many stories and memories together, but I immediately went back to a moment when I first fell in love with him before we even met. Before we met in person, Chris and I talked for almost 3 months while he was deployed in Afghanistan, and I was a teacher in Danvers, Massachusetts. We emailed and Facebook Messengered almost every day. These 3 months are when I got to know Chris the most as the man he was before I actually got to meet him in person. I asked him to share a story with me about his time deployed in Iraq or Afghanistan so I could better understand what life was like as a soldier. He emailed me back with a story about a little girl named Mariana. This little girl and her family were homeless and living in an abandoned school with about 20 other families. The city was going to kick them out, so they went to a city council meeting and protested, and that's where he met her and her family. She told him he had beautiful eyes and he knew enough Arabic to know what she had said. He told his interpreter to tell her she could have them if she could pull them out. She asked, "Really?" He said, "Yes, really." So she reached up and he bent down and she pinched his eyeball, gave it a tug. After a couple tugs, she gave up and said, "They're just too strong." He told me he fell in love with that little girl. He became friends with her and looked forward to his visits with her each time they passed by. Each time he would visit, the other children would tell her he was there and she would come find him. She would hold his hand and scold the other children for trying to take his candy and take his pens out of his pockets. She looked forward to his visits just as much as he did. Whenever he went to visit, out of almost 20,000 people, he would find her and visit her. Of course, my first response was, "You must tell all the girls this story." But as I looked at his pictures and I saw several pictures of this little girl and saw how special she was to him, it was then I saw his big heart and knew that he was such a selfless, kind-hearted, and sincere man that I yearned to know more about and be part of his life. It was the first moment I fell in love with this man that I had never have met, but I knew our lives were crossed. Thank you.
There's more, so.
Thank you. I'll leave them.
Well, Chris and Stacey, answer these questions for me. Chris, do you take Stacey to be your wedded wife? Hold her hands, that's it. Do you promise to care for her and share with her, learn from her and laugh with her, listen to her and grow with her, and forsaking all others, remain loyal to her as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Stacey, do you take Chris to be your wedded husband? And do you promise to care for him and share with him, learn from him and laugh with him, listen to him and grow with him, and forsaking all others, remain loyal to him as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Chris and Stacey, today is the day you will always remember, the greatest in anyone's life. You started off the day just two people in love, and you ended as husband and wife. This is the start of a journey with moments to cherish and treasure, and although there will be times when you both disagree, they'll surely be outweighed by pleasure. You've heard lots of advice about the secrets of marriage, but you know that the answers lie hidden inside, where the bond of true love lies unbroken. So live happy forever as lovers and friends. This is the dawn of a new life for you as you stand here with love in your eyes. May all your hopes and your dreams be real. May success find its way to your hearts. And may tomorrow bring you the greatest of joys. But this is the day it all starts. Well, Chris and Stacey, since it is your intention to marry, to share with each other your laughter and your tears and all that the years will bring, by your promises, bind yourselves to each other as husband and wife. Oh, but wait, you had something more you wanted to say, didn't you? So Chris, there you go.
Stacey, the last 5 years have been the best years of my life. I've finally been home long enough to build a life, and I was able to do it with my best friend. I may be second to Chesney, but you're number one to me. And over the last 5 years, we've shared so much with each other. Somehow I got you to finally leave New England, your comfort zone. And while Fayetteville isn't where you'd like to end up, you've done so much to make our house a home. You finally decided to leave teaching, a profession you excelled in and would have stayed in, but was more stress than you deserved and wasn't headed in the direction you knew it should have been. We got a dog, your little accident-prone fur baby, your clearance pup. You learned how to cook more than just chocolate chip muffins and started experimenting in the kitchen with your own recipes. You expanded your palate. Thank you, Reed, Julia, for that, by the way. Foods that you would typically tell me you didn't like without trying, you're at least try now. You went back to college, and in the process somehow brought me back to college. Although I can't find the math and computer classes anywhere in my transcripts. We learned all there is to know about each other. I've learned about all your little quirks, of which you have many. I can't tell you how many times I've come home to find the dining room table rotated 90 degrees, or my clothes in a different closet because you got on a cleaning kick. But between your college classes and nannying for 3 families, you do more than your share, and you find the time to make sure the house stays clean and the fridge stocked. I know I can drive you nuts. I pack last minute for trips. Even this one. I hide in the house to scare you. I don't always put things back where they belong, but I promise I'll love you each day more than the last. And I'll always strive to make you happy. The last 5 years have been an amazing start to what I hope will be an amazing rest of our lives together. I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm ready to spend the rest of my life with my best friend.
Why does he get to go first?
Because we saved the best for last. Here you go.
Okay.
Take your time.
Chris. Once in a while, right in the middle of an ordinary life, love gives us a fairy tale. 5 years ago, I never realized what an incredible journey we were embarking upon together. I never would have believed that the soldier my first graders and I were writing to that was a world away would be waiting for me at the altar today. I never dreamed that I would find someone who challenged me to see the world in a way you do, a man who makes me laugh and love with abandon, a man who, even after years together, still gives me butterflies when he walks through the door, just like the first night we met in person, although that could have been the 3 glasses of wine I had in anticipation. Falling in love with you is one of the easiest decisions of my life, and we all know how hard it is for me to make a decision. I have never been so sure of anything in my life. In you, I have my best friend, my life partner. Thank you for your love, your friendship, support, and the joy you've brought into my life. With you, I have done so many things I never thought I would. I left the comfort of my home and family in New England and moved down south. It was touch and go at first, but I learned to be more independent and ventured out of my comfort zone. I learned to cook, shoot guns and rifles, and have even expanded my palate to try venison and Thai food. I even learned to pump my own gas and change a light bulb. You have helped me triumph over challenges presented and supported and encouraged me to follow my dreams. You've loved me unconditionally and accepted me for who I am, my OCD and need to control everything. I love that you tell me to turn around when we are leaving the house to make sure I see the garage going down, so moments later I don't have a panic attack wondering if we shut the garage. I love that you line up the condiments and spices in formation because it makes me happy when things are organized. You have accepted my quirks and embraced them, and sometimes even appreciate them. With you by my side, I have so much hope for the future. I look forward to making our dreams reality and sharing this incredible journey with you. I wish for this to be the first of many best days in our life. I love you to the beach and back.
Give her a kiss. I mean, she
No, we
needs
can't
her.
yet, we can't
Oh, hey, yes, you can.
You can't yet.
No, you can't yet. All right.
OCD, follow
Oh. All right, then I'll follow the script. Chris, look into your wife's eyes and repeat after me. I, Chris, take you, Stacey, to be my best friend.
I, Chris, take you, Stacey, to be my best friend,
My faithful partner and my one true love.
my faithful partner and my one true love.
I promise to encourage you and inspire you,
I promise to encourage you and inspire you,
and to love you truly through good times and bad.
and to love you truly through good times and bad.
I will forever be there to laugh with you,
I will forever be there to laugh with you,
lift you up when you're down,
lift you up when you're down,
and to love you unconditionally
and to love you unconditionally
through all our adventures in life together.
through all our adventures in life together.
Stacey, look into your husband's eyes. Deep breath.
Panic attack.
Look into his eyes and say, I, Stacey, take you, Chris, to be my best friend,
I, Stacey, take you, Chris, to be my best friend,
my faithful partner and my one true love.
my faithful partner, and my one true love.
I promise to encourage you and inspire you,
I promise to encourage you and inspire you,
and to love you truly through good times and bad.
and to love you truly through good times and bad.
I will forever be there to laugh with you,
I will forever be there to laugh with you,
to lift you up when you're down,
to lift you up when you're down,
and to love you unconditionally
and to love you unconditionally
through all of our adventures in life together.
through all of our adventures in life together.
Friends, let's just take a moment and pause. Deep breath. I want you all just to be quiet and look around. Take in the whole scene. You know, Stacey, look at the faces of the people who love you. You saw the back of their heads coming in. Now look at their faces. And remember, these are the people who surround you with their love. We're surrounded by this incredible beauty as we stand here on this beach today. You know, Tiger Tail's down there, Mainland's back that way. But in all these things, this is the circle of beauty that surrounds you. This is the circle of love that surrounds you. And so I want you to remember as we move to the rings, that the ring is a lasting symbol of the vows and commitments you've made to one another. The circle is a symbol of the sun and the earth and the universe. It's a symbol of holiness, of perfection, and peace. And so the seamless circle of these rings symbolizes the endless circle of your love for each other. So her ring first. All right. Okay, Chris, go ahead and place it on her left hand.
It doesn't fit.
Okay, put your engagement ring back on with it. Now, hold the ring up in the lights. Let it catch the fire. I want you to remember the fire you see in these stones today, and the fire in each other's eyes, and the passion you share. And every time you see the light flash in these rings again, remember what's going on between you now. Remember what we're saying here on this beach. Remember the love that's going to carry you forward. Whether it's over candles at dinner, whether it's out in the yard when you're working, when you see that fire again, remember what you're saying to each other. So Chris, look into your wife's eyes and say, Stacey, I give you this ring.
Stacey, I give you this ring.
As a symbol of the promises I make to you today.
As a symbol of the promises I make to you today.
It's a sign of our constant faith and abiding love.
It's a sign of our constant faith and abiding love. Don't leave it at the tanning bed anymore.
Go ahead. Okay, hold his hands and look into his eyes. So Chris, I give you this ring.
Chris, I give you this ring.
As a symbol of the promises I make to you today.
As a symbol of the promises I make to you today.
It's a sign of our constant faith and abiding love.
As a sign of our constant faith and abiding love.
Well, Chris and Stacey, you've just sealed your relationship by the exchanging of vows and the giving of rings. You've committed today to share the rest of your lives together. And that relationship is symbolized through the fisherman's knot, the tying of the knot that is the strongest of all. It's a bond that will not break, become ever stronger under pressure. And by the way, friends, the old expression to tie the knot comes from this ceremony. It's an ancient Celtic tradition. So right hand, take his right hand like you were shaking it. And the robe is wrapped around to symbolize your past and all that you bring to this wedding, to your marriage. It's wrapped again to symbolize the present, the joy we share here today. The third wrap is for the times to come, as your family grows, as you grow together. And fourth is that future you will hold together as husband and wife into your closing years. And in the end, I tie the fisherman's knot. It's an overhand knot tied over each string on the opposite side. And it's a very simple knot, but its strength comes in that when there's tension placed upon it, it grows ever stronger. Rope's too short.
Where's the jet ski? Look at that right there. It's a manatee, right there. It's a manatee. Oh, Chesney!
Oh my gosh!
All right. Now I'll have each of you take this in.
Sorry, I was distracted.
No, this one. Chris, you take this one. Now pull the knot together, and it locks up and binds ever tighter. And as that knot will not break under pressure, so you know whatever adversity you might face in your marriage, know that it only pulls you together tighter and stronger in your love and your bond with each other. So you can stop the tug of war now. It's all right. All right, slide your hands out. Paul, I'm going to give you this and take my book back. Thank you. Join hands. Chris and Stacey, may your love continue to blossom and deepen throughout the years. May you share the same dreams and goals for the future. May you accept each other's weaknesses and praise each other's strengths. May you always speak with kindness, understanding, and patience. May you continue to hold each other's hands with warmth, tenderness, and love. May you always express and find that excitement when a manatee or a dolphin comes by. And may you always remain the best of friends. May the blessings of God be your constant companions. Okay, this is it. Are you ready? Ready?
Sure. We didn't practice this.
All right. It's a great joy in the presence of this company that I declare that Chris and Stacey are a husband and wife. So Chris, kiss your wife, Stacey. Oh, do it again. She didn't get that. Do it again. Do it again. All right, reach back and take your flowers. Friends, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Chris and Stacey Barnes.